Thank you for tuning in to In the Office with me, Miss G, and my co-host Tenna Harris, right here on Empower Sundays on ventradio.net. Now come on and step into the office. Well, good morning. Great Sunday morning to everybody. I hope everybody is doing fine. This is February the 7th, 2021. And it's a cold, cold morning, but it's a great Sunday morning. Everybody know it's Super Bowl Sunday. And we got, I don't know what time the Super Bowl starts, but Super Bowl 55, I think it is. And we just want to thank God for letting us see another Sunday, whether it was Super Bowl Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But we just want to thank God for actually getting us up this morning and letting us be here on In the Office with G with my great and beautiful co-host, Tenna Harris.
Well, hey, everybody. Come on in the office.
Come on in the office and have a seat and let's discuss some things today. But like I said, today is Super Bowl Sunday. Everybody gonna have, I guess this will be the first Super Bowl in, I guess, 54 years that we had to have a Super Bowl Sunday like this. Ain't nobody gonna be in the stands, you know. You got to be limited about your Super Bowl parties. You can go ahead and make the buffalo wings and stuff like that, but it'll just be you and your husband or your boyfriend and all that other good stuff. But I think it's the y'all correct me now. I know somebody will. It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. That's it. I actually remembered. So I'm gonna look at the Super Bowl, but I always look at the Super Bowl just for the commercials. I don't look at it for anything else, you know. And I don't even think the commercials gonna be that good this year, you know, because usually they have good commercials, but I don't know how them commercials gonna be. So, but that's what I look at it for. So we hope you enjoy your Sunday today. Now, you know, we always start off our Sunday. Before we start our discussion, we're going to be celebrating Black History Month today. And we got some good little people that we want to introduce to you today in honor of Black History Month. But, you know, we usually start off, and join the conversation. Let me do that. You join the conversation. Call us, 248-429-7224. And come on and talk to us today. Our lesson for today in our daily bread is called Musical Interludes. And it's coming from the book of Mark, the 6th chapter, the 30th through the 34th verse. And it starts like this. He said unto them, come aside by yourselves to a deserted place and rest a while. God writes the music of our lives. Our role is to follow his lead, humming, harmonizing, blending, and singing in tune. Serving the Lord like singing can be stirring and rewarding. But when we are set aside by illness or replacement or retirement, the interludes can be frustrating and unfulfilling. When God says to us, come, rest a while, we may not want to stop. It seems that our performance is over, that we've come to the end of our song. If we allow ourselves to be overwhelmed with our inactivity, it will cause us to focus on our defects and our circumstances. But we need to remind ourselves that the Lord may be using our time of rest to make our music better. I got to read that again. That was good. But we need to remind ourselves that the Lord may be using our time of rest to make our music better. The great conductor is counting time with precision. There is more to the arrangement than we know. If we keep our eyes on him, in time he'll enable us to chime in again. In the meantime, we can enjoy the rest, The quiet times are opportunities to quiet our souls and compose ourselves for the measures that lie ahead. The rest is not a mistake, nor an omission, but a necessary part of the symphony God wrote in the beginning and is conducting for us every day. The conductor knows best. Wait on him. God uses life stop to prepare us for the next start. That was good. I like that. Musical interludes. Now, you know, the interlude is in between. When you go to a symphony, I went to 2 symphonies in my life. And when they have the interlude, the musical interlude, that means there's a pause. You're going to have the prelude, and then you have the interlude. The prelude is the music before the actual symphony starts. The interlude is like the intermission between the 2 sets. So what this is saying, a musical interlude, our lives right now are I think we talked about this earlier part about how busy we are, how we don't get our rest, how we need to stop and slow down some. So we're coming right back to it here on February 7th in our Daily Bread lesson, that God is the conductor of our lives. He is the great conductor, it said. And they said the conductor knows best. When you have that conductor up there waving that battalion and he's conducting the symphony or the orchestra or the band, and you may say, well, all he's doing is waving his arms, but he's keeping the time for the whole symphony. He's keeping time for the whole band. And that's what God is doing. God is keeping time for us. It just said, but we need to remind ourselves that the Lord may be using our time of rest to make our music better. Sometimes, you know, you get in that. I never been in band, but my daughter was in band, and I sat in. I had to pick her up from school one day, and she was in band practice, so I had to sit for a little while she got. And they started off sounding good, but then everybody was getting a little, and the band leader, the conductor, said, "Well, hold on, y'all rest a minute, and then we're gonna pick it up at this part of this bar here." And when he said, "Okay, y'all ready?" and he counted it off, and he was waiting, he said, and then they started, and it sounded so much better because they took a rest. They took time. And they said the Lord may be using our time of rest to make our music better. He's taking our time of rest. And I don't mean you sit down and go to sleep.
No.
I mean, you sit down and you start meditating. You start praying. You start fasting. And in between that time that you're praying and fasting, here comes the Lord saying, okay, now we can make this life a little bit better. You're getting off course. You're getting off time. Sit back now and just hold on. Let's just take our time and make this music better. We know that I know I love music. I know Tenna love music because the girl can sing. You know, it said God writes the music of our lives. Our role is to follow we got to follow his lead. How I look like you the leader and I'm trying to sing with you, but you leading the song.
It has happened.
And that it turns out to be a little mess, don't it?
I just turn around and look at him like, is they singing with
And
me?
you know, that's what God do. You know, thank you for saying that. That's what God will turn around and look at you and say, who's supposed to be leading you? Or you going to take over?
And being that it's not a competition, I just stop and let you have it.
And that's what God do, though. You know that, don't you?
Absolutely.
God said,
I ain't gonna try to battle.
I'm not going to be battling with you. You go ahead.
Because it really ain't no battle.
It ain't no battle.
But if you think you know,
go take it over.
Go ahead and do your song.
Do your song.
This your solo.
Song. But the day's lesson said our role is to follow his lead, humming, harmonizing, blending, and singing in tune.
That's it. This season has kind of. This season is hopefully taught some of us that. Because I know for surely it has opened my eyes in many ways, especially with what is going on and the amount of people that are dying and the amount of people that are losing jobs and losing and people are now focusing on things that they've let lay dormant, and God is allowing them to cultivate those things in their life now. So the time that God has structured for us, people are now starting to accept that, you know what, maybe it is time for me this rest was good for me.
Right.
This rest was wonderful for me. Even though I lost some stuff, because rest don't come with all happy days. Sometimes rest comes after a storm.
And that's what our daily bread is saying today. But when we're set aside by illness and replacement or retirement, the interlude can be frustrating.
That's right.
And unfulfilling.
And then people get stuck. We just
talked about that on the way here, and people get stuck. It says it seems that our performance is over, that we've come to the end of our song. But our song ain't in yet.
That's good. But it feels like it.
It feels like it. But we got to know, we got to wait on God. I never forget, I was at rehearsal one time at my church, Perfecting Church. I ain't in the choir no more. I hope ain't nothing perfecting looking at it. But I remember I was in rehearsal, and at that point, Pastor was actually teaching rehearsals, and we was like, Lord have mercy, here he come. And when it was our time, when he said, altos, stand up. And I said, can y'all get it right? Because I don't want to be standing up. And we stood up, and he said, okay. And he said, now I'm going to play y'all part. I want y'all. And somebody started before our part was supposed to come in. And we looked at her, because we ain't all going to get in trouble for you.
Is this show solo? What happened?
And Pastor just kind of looked and said, who was that? And we just tattletales snitches. Yeah, we told on her.
It was her.
It was her.
And the thing is, looks really tell on you, because when you hear it, everybody
look at you like, girl, it's bad enough we here half the night and you gonna mess up.
Now, when I was a director, and I was very I still have that perfection nature, but God has softened my perfection nature. It would be so funny, because in rehearsals, especially when we were doing concerts, and somebody would go off and say a wrong note or whatever, or do something wrong, and I would say, who was that? And it would be funny to me, because everybody else would look down, and the one person that did it would be like, and I could always tell, so they didn't tell on her. But they did tell on her, because everybody else looking down or looking away, like.
No, but see, at when we was at Perfecting, when I was in the choir Perfecting, and you did wrong, we gonna tell on you, because I ain't gonna be there all night.
But you want, as a director, you want the sound to be pure.
Oh.
You want the sound to be just like what the word.
And this is, thank you for saying that.
As a director, people didn't realize, when they were in rehearsal. And when we were rehearsing, and people would get fed up, and they would get a little discombobulated, and they would get upset with me, because I would say, sing it again. And they'd be like, we ready to go home. But then when the sound came, and when we perfected the sound, and people were like, oh my God, it sounds like 100 voices in the
But see, thank you. But see what you just said. You perfect the sound. Yes. That's what God is doing. God is perfecting our song of our lives.
Amen.
Till the sound.
Yes.
We get off pitch. We get off note.
So don't discount the musical interlude. Because they are needed. It's like a comma in a sentence. Like I got to stop here, because I'm about to transition, because something just didn't. I got to say something else here. I guess something got to come in.
Oh, I got to rest. I got to rest a little bit. I need to step back a little bit.
It's that Selah.
It's that yeah.
It's that in music, that interlude is what we call in the Bible a Selah.
Okay.
We got to take a step back.
See, preacher got to break it down for us, so that's all right. Preach.
What we do, we got to take a breath. We got to take a moment. And then that moment gives us a chance to recharge. And that moment gives us a chance to think.
That's what rest does.
I know.
We go to sleep every night because our body, our mind, our situations have weighed us down.
But see, there's a difference between sleep and rest. There's a big difference.
Okay.
When you sleep, your body is asleep.
Mm-hmm.
When you're resting,
Mm-hmm.
that gives you time to think. That means that everything else shuts down while your mind thinks. There's a difference. When you sleep, you hope your mind is going to sleep. You hope your mind is going to rest.
You really want your mind
to rest.
You want everything to just
Just
be quiet.
be quiet.
If your mind is running while you're sleeping, that becomes
Right.
issues.
Mm-hmm.
But when you rest,
You get
that
time
means
to process.
everything shuts down.
You get time to process.
And your mind says, hold on, I'm in control.
Mm-hmm.
Let me re-navigate you.
Mm-hmm.
Let me re-navigate your thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Let me now, because the flesh was trying to rule.
Right.
So now that you're resting, the flesh got to sit down. And now the mind and the spirit has to take control. So it's a big difference between rest and sleep.
And
Because a lot of people sleep, but they don't rest.
But you know what? And so that's where our lesson for this morning, like Tenna has said, it's time we have to our mind. It's time to reflect when we do that rest. It's time for us to just calm everything down. It's time to be quiet.
And I think that's what the pandemic helped a lot of us do. So a lot of people are revamping their world. They are going back to school. A lot of them are looking at the job they held and now can be grateful. Okay, I lost that job. Yes, I might have been down a little bit, but now I get to revamp and recreate my world.
Right,
I get to process what can I do next? What is my next?
Right.
You know? So that's what this musical interlude.
This musical
really
interlude
kind of helps you.
Yeah, you know, and let me read another part that it says. The great conductor is counting time with precision.
Come on now, he ain't playing games with
There
us.
is more to the arrangement than we know.
Come on now.
If we keep our eyes on him, in time, he'll enable us to chime in. In time. Don't chime in before your time.
But you said something,
the great is counting time with precision.
Come on now, you said that now. You said that.
God is precise. God is the only one that's precise in our lives. He is the only perfect one. He is the perfect, the Thee, God.
So all that's really saying is trust.
That's all you got to trust.
What his design for your world is.
And it says there is more to the arrangement that there is more to me than I know. There is more to me than I know. If we keep our eyes on him. You know what the Bible said when y'all both y'all ministers, y'all gonna help me. When the Israelites got to that land and the snakes was biting on them. Mm-hmm. They just biting on them. And the prophet told them, look and live. look up and live.
Now, they had sinned.
That's the reason
why the snakes
was biting on, yes.
Because remember, the prophet was in the mountain talking to God.
And
they decided, just like our flesh, they didn't rest and let their mind and let their spirit take control. The flesh took control. So they like, okay, he don't know what he doing, so we gonna build a golden calf. And then his sister said, I'm gonna talk about him because I don't understand what he doing. And so then God allowed the snakes to bite at them. But what the wonderful part was, in order for you to live, you gotta forget about
the snakes. You gotta look up. And that's what it says. If we keep our eyes on him, and Tina just said it, if we trust,
that's what it is.
In time, he'll enable us to chime in. When he get ready, we trust him enough to understand. When you ready, bring me on in.
And I have to trust him.
And I gotta trust him.
Come on, people.
It's just like on a football team, on a basketball team, or something like that. You got people sitting out on the sideline, and I want to play so bad. I want, Coach, let me get in. Coach say no. Oh, okay. They make a triple double. Coach. No, not yet. Oh, Coach,
you gotta trust.
No, not yet. Field. But the coaches say, come on now, it's your time.
That's it.
You got to just wait until God say it's your time.
And I like that analogy.
I
So
really
it's
love
Super
that
Bowl.
analogy.
And what I like about it is when that quarterback throws that ball, he's trusting that whoever's supposed to catch that
ball.
He's trusting them that you better be at that point.
And
to
you
catch
and you know, and that
ball.
quarterback, now he throw it. Now that timing. That quarterback got to make that time to get to that ball and catch it. Girl, this musical interlude. This is good. This is great. All right. Well, that's our lesson for today. Christina Akins said this is good stuff right here.
It really is. It really is.
Yes, indeed. Because we
And
just have
another
to.
player, you can't just be hogging the ball. You can't hog
You can't-
either. You can't be a one show
A wonder, a one soul wonder. You can't do that, no ma'am.
Somebody else can catch
Can
too.
catch too.
Okay.
You know, throw it on over. You know, I have seen it on basketball. They dribble. They just dribbling. You know, I'm just dribble, and they be like, over here. You just dribbling. You just dribbling. You just over here. But look, pass the ball. The man open.
But you gonna hold the ball.
But you gonna
because
hold the ball.
I'm gonna try to make this. I'm gonna do
He
it.
gonna lose.
And you gonna lose. You dribbling, and God saying, "I'm right here." God saying, "I'm right here."
Good analogy.
It's called a team.
I just right.
It's called
No,
a team.
it's called the coach.
It's called a coach.
It truly is.
It's the
Because-
coach.
because
It's the
coach need to
conductor.
get with that-
The coach got to get with
that player.
that each and every one of them players. I coach up in
teaching in here, G.
no,
You're
it's just the
teaching in
truth.
here.
The coach up in heaven. He got all these players down here on
You
earth.
teaching in here, G.
But I'm just saying, he got all these players down here. You know, I was listening to Marette Clark Brown yesterday, King O' King. Yeah, we gonna play that next time because I played that over and over in the house yesterday. She said, "You a king, but you got time to listen to me." He is the king and the ruler of all this earth. But Lord, you make time for me.
And that's why we, even in a worldly sense, as CEOs and leaders of our companies, we can't get so high and mighty, because if God himself can listen to Tenna right here in the city of Detroit, somebody that I ain't got no millions and millions of dollars, I ain't, but he still makes time to listen to me.
He conducting your life.
So in your
Yeah.
own home, don't get so
Yeah.
busy that you can't hear your children. Don't get so busy that you can't hear what's going on around you. I like that. I like that. He is a king.
He is a king. But next
But
week we
yes,
don't play
he
that.
takes the time
He
to
takes
work for
time.
us to
And
listen
I
to
thank him for being my coach. I do. I thank him for being my coach. Because he know exactly when to put me
You
in the
know
game.
when to catch the ball.
I know when to catch the ball. I know when it's time for me to sing, hum, and harmonize.
And sometimes shut up.
And sometimes be quiet. It ain't my time. It ain't my time. It ain't my time. That was good. A musical interlude, everybody. That was a good lesson this morning. But we here to talk about Black History Month. I could talk about musical interlude all day, though. But we going to get back to that one. That was a good one this morning. February 7th, musical interlude. But just remember this last part. And I'm going to move on because I'm like the preacher.
She can't get off
I
of
can't
this
get off of
musical
this.
interlude. Y'all know about that musical
Yeah,
interlude.
yeah.
It means pause.
It means pause.
Take a break.
Take a break.
Think. Reprocess.
Yeah, it says God uses life stops to prepare us for the next start.
That's good. Very good. That is so true.
So if y'all don't remember nothing else today,
Remember that. In other words, everything that didn't work doesn't mean that it's the end.
right?
You just stop.
You just stop.
He had to stop you. Something came in. We got to stop.
We gotta stop. We gotta stop.
Okay, we're gonna get off of it. It's Black History Month.
Yeah,
It just
it is, but it's still Sunday. It's still the Sabbath day, and we're gonna keep it holy. So, but that's our lesson for the day: musical interlude. But it is Black History Month, and we are celebrating and honoring all of our Black historians and all of the great leaders that have brought we as a people to where we are today. And we cannot forget about our black historians and where we came from. So if we just want to, I know, Tenna, you have a black history person that you're really
fascinated by
and have actually kind of patterned yourself
My
after.
God, glory to your name.
So
Yes.
I have a little thing that says this is how February became Black History Month. And it actually came from Carter G. Woodson. He was the starter of Black History Month. Actually, Mr. Woodson got intrigued, or got frustrated, I should say, when he was in school. Now, he earned his master's degree from the University of Chicago and a PhD from Harvard, both in history. And he witnessed how black people were underrepresented in the books and conversations of American history.
Yes.
And the way that many historians taught the nation's past, African Americans were barely part of history. And he got really, really frustrated with that. So he started an organization or an association, and the name of the association was the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. And this organization would promote studying black history. And they were so prominent that they actually started the Black Negro Week. It started as just a week. And that was to bring attention to all of the history, the black history. Because during his time, there weren't, well, it was like 1915 or something like that, or earlier part. And during his time, the history books only spoke of black people as slaves, house Negroes, and butlers. That was it. It wasn't, anything prominent, not knowing that you had so many black people to invent things. So in 1926, that's when Mr. Woodson and this association started the Black Negro Week. And that was just to bring attention to his mission and to help the school system to focus on black history topics. So he chose the second week in February, which also was Frederick Douglass's birthday, to and it was Abraham Lincoln's birthday too, but okay, fine. But he but he
not gonna just discount that.
No, I'm not gonna. You know what, Frank? Abraham Lincoln was good to the black people. He was. He did the Emancipation Proclamation.
He was okay.
He was pressured.
Yeah,
he was pressured. Yes, he was.
We're not gonna say he was 100%.
No, but he
do
did
some things under duress.
Okay.
But we're grateful.
We're grateful
because it was a start. We have to be thankful for everything, So.
And see, and that's why Mr. Woodson. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I like how you were saying earlier. You talked about the under acknowledgement of the African American culture or black period in books. There's a TED Talk from an African girl, and it's called "A Danger of an Untold Story." The danger in an untold story. And she talked about when she was growing up and how she read books. She loved reading, but no books had black. All of the books she had were all Caucasian, European characters. Mm-hmm. And so when she came here to go to college, she was oblivious to what was really happening here. And then her college roommate was a Caucasian person, and that Caucasian person was oblivious to who she was. So she calls her TED Talk "The Danger of an Untold Story" because they both had these myths and these different scenarios of what they thought the other should look like or be, or and
right.
It was just a danger. And so he was really instrument in helping write some stories for us, so that we could live in the books.
Well, and see, that's
know?
what I was going to say, because during the civil rights movement, we know that was in the 60s. Freedom schools in the South, schools in the South actually embraced that week. So it became a big thing in the South. And when they embraced that week, it just spread like wildfire. So in the mid 1960s, the most popular textbook in the 8th grade history spoke of only 2 black people. And that, that had transpired since the Civil War. And Mr. Woodson said, I can't tolerate this anymore. I can't do this. So a number of mayors had already adopted
Negro Week.
The Black Negro Week. And being that the mayors had adopted the celebration, and by that time it was President Gerald Ford, they pressured President Gerald Ford, and he decreed that Black History Month be a national observance in 1976. So it was actually President Ford that got February as Black History Month. So that's how, in a gist. Now, you go online and you put in, this is how February became Black History Month, and you can get the whole story. You can get the whole story, because actually it was a black man, I forget his name, in 1918 that actually started observing black people, and I think it was only for a day. And then Mr. Woodson came, Carter G. Woodson came and decided, I can't do this no more, and started this association, and all of the mayors in the country just wrote a decree to President Ford. And President Ford said, in observance of Black history, we'll give it the whole month. It went from a day to a week to a whole month to celebrate Black history. So that's how Black History Month came to be. So now, Tina, tell us about the black pioneer that you actually.
So one of the ones that I am truly fascinated by is Fatima Clark. Fatima Clark, African American woman who coined adult education. What I love about it is the fact that when this discovery of what we needed came through education, it's different for how we look at adult education today. Then it was, African Americans coming out of slavery, and, even though there was no more slavery happening, they were still finding ways to keep us down, where we couldn't vote because you couldn't read, or if if you can't read, you can't vote, And so her thoughts was to create this educational world. She was a school teacher. Her mother was a school teacher. She became a school teacher. But the school she was in as a child was an all Caucasian school, and they weren't teaching her to the max that they were teaching other kids. So the mother pulled her out of school, homeschooled her, and she ended up becoming a teacher in the school system in that town, somewhere down south. And make a long story short, she became so prominent that she started educating African Americans on how how to read, how to write, how to do this. And what ended up happening, she ended up getting inducted into the NAACP, and the school system didn't like that, so they made her choose. You either want to be a part of them, or you're going to be a school teacher here in our system. So she chose the NAACP, and she left and went back to this little town that she was born in and started her own school system for African Americans and began to educate them how to read. And she said, her quote is, "Education is liberty." And she started teaching other teachers. She became a teacher of teachers, so that she could not just be the only one teaching. So she have every other teachers teaching African Americans what ended up happening, she became the superintendent of that school district in her town.
Oh, okay.
I mean, she's an amazing woman. But when I
Okay.
look at where we are today with daughter education, it's completely different. We're not necessarily educating people for freedom and liberty. We are.
Mm-hmm.
But most of our daughter education now is almost, we got to push you to it. We almost got to, hey, come and get this free education, and what I guess what bothers me about it is back then they were running for it. They were running for that education when she started this world. They were pushing to get their freedom and their liberty. So understanding what that is, and so she's really a phenomenal instrument in who I am today and how I.
Is there a
push.
website that people can actually kind of look at and get more information?
If you just put her name in Google, Spatima Clark, it'll come up. There's a whole little video, even a little. It's old. It's an old video, so I think it's just an audio. But you see these pictures of her they'll just float through.
Okay.
You just put her in and she'll come right up.
Okay.
Spatima Clark.
Spatima Clark. Okay. All right. And see, that's what I'm saying. We all know about Dr. Martin Luther King.
Right.
We all know about Malcolm X. And we know all about the Frederick Douglass but I want to bring to light maybe people we don't know that have been influential in black history, and nobody knew about. I'm sure not too many people have heard of her.
I know I didn't when I first.
And that's what I'm saying. So that's why I say you bring people to the forefront that, our children, I don't know if they still do it in school now, but have essays on black history and stuff like that. And,
They do. They still do.
Bring somebody to light that people don't know about that have really helped us as a race. And you know what? And let me just put it like this. Black History Month is just not for black people. TB, which I love, she just said, I respect and honor Rosa Parks.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm saying. It's just not for us. It's for everybody. Black History Month is for everybody.
And then when you study in it, you want to get a full scope of who you're studying and why the journey they took is what they took. Because I'm going to tell you, and I think I mentioned it, well, maybe not, but with Harriet Tubman, even though she's well known, everybody knows her, one thing that I'd never grasped as a young girl is I always thought that she carried the gun just for the enemy. But she didn't. She carried it for safety of her own slave trade against the people that was in her slave trade.
Right.
She could not allow them to go back, because if you decided you needed to go back, you're gonna negate what I'm doing here, and they're gonna force you to tell them where I'm at and what roads we took and who's helping me along this journey.
Right.
So you forfeit my journey, and so you're gonna live or die.
Right.
Now either you going to freedom or I gotta take you out.
And that's so ironic that she did that, because you had many people who lived and died for the black,
even though she never used it.
No, she never used it, but there was the freedom, the
piece of it,
freedom piece of it, and that's ironic, you have black people that have lived and died for our freedom. So that's that gun that she used was like a visual of what our black historians and our black ancestors have went through. By this gun, you either gonna live or die to get to freedom.
That's it. You can't go back.
You can't go back,
because then you compromise all of us. Matter of fact, you compromise my mission coming back.
Right.
Even if I get us to freedom, I won't be able to come back.
And I say that only because if you look at, not just with Harriet Tubman with the actual gun, you look at Martin Luther King. He couldn't turn back after that fight. He couldn't turn back. You look at Malcolm X, even though he, like I said, this week getting this stuff together was absolutely amazing to me. But to move on just for a little bit, Did you know that the ironing board was invented by a black woman, Sarah Boone?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And to bring it to like right now, the first black mayor of East Point,
Yep.
Monica Owens.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
we honor her today. And the first black billionaire. Now, people may think it was Oprah
It was not.
or Michael Jordan.
It was not.
It was Robert Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, who in the heck is Robert Johnson? Robert Johnson is the owner of BET, or he was the owner of BET.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the first, he sold BET in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the first black billion, I ain't say million, I said billionaire.
And his ex-wife.
And his ex-wife? Okay,
Mhm.
and his ex-wife. The first black Baptist church was 16th Street Baptist Church. And actually, it was Dr. Martin Luther King. And that was the church that got bombed. Not Wesley Snipes. Spike Lee has a documentary called Four Little Girls. And if you never saw that documentary, I think it's still on Netflix, about the four little girls that died in the bombing of the 16th Street Baptist Church. It is I have looked at it maybe at least 30 something times because it was a tragic day. But to see the interviews of the people, of those four little girls' parents, to tell about that day. And one of the girls' sisters said it was just it was a feeling in the air. And she said, I couldn't explain it then, but I can explain it now. And just look at that documentary, Four Little Girls, or Four Little Black Girls, and it's by Spike Lee. He interviewed them all, and it's something to see.
And swing by the DIA. They actually have that exhibit up as well.
Oh, do they?
They actually
Okay.
have that exhibit up. I know they had it up last summer. So I know they do switch around different things throughout, so check it out.
Yeah, check it
They got
out.
a nice one up.
Now, the three people that I actually was so intrigued with during this week trying to get this together. The first one, his name is Milton S.J. Wright. He was born in 1903 and died in 1972. And you say, well, what did Mr. Wright do? Well, Mr. Wright, it says like a handful of other black Americans, graduated pre-World War II. And he had gotten his bachelor's degree from Wilberforce University in Ohio. And then he earned his master's degree from Columbia University. And he got his bachelor in 1926 and his master's in 1928. That's a feat, 2 years apart. Back in that time, wasn't no accelerated nothing. So he was a very smart man. But what Mr. Wright did that was so astounding was he was the first and only black man to actually hold audience with Adolf Hitler. And Mr. Wright was fluent in German. So he actually did his whole interview with Adolf Hitler in German. He spoke German to Adolf Hitler. And he said the ordeal lasted 4 hours.
Wow.
With Adolf Hitler.
Amazing.
And he said he went in there not knowing if he was even going to come out alive. Because Adolf Hitler was not.
He was no joke.
A fan
of us
or Jews. He was the one that sent all these Jews to the gas.
To be slaughtered.
Yeah. And it says that it lasted 4 hours, but Hitler had been surprisingly courteous and had complimented Wright's excellent German. I guess it just shocked him that a black man knew German.
Yeah, where are you getting this from? How this happen?
How this happened? What'd you do with that? And so he said that Now, the whole encounter, he had actually, he was glad to get out of there. He said that he asked his questions he asked his questions not to irritate him. And he said that Hitler answered his questions in a calm but rather loud voice. In history, in when you be taught, they say when you don't speak loud, people that speak loud want to actually dominate the room. Exactly. Mm-hmm. But he answered every one of Mr. Wright's questions, but he answered them, and he answered them loudly. And he said he didn't know whether he was going to actually get out of this, because the one thing that he said was, "Your people are a hopeless lot, and I hate them. I pity the poor devils." What is that for you to say? I mean, but what he was going to do? Jump up and slap him? No.
No, heck no. But
wow. Hitler allowed him to ask the questions, but at the end of their encounter, this is what Hitler said to him.
And he made it alive.
And he hightailed it back to the States.
I'm sure he did. I need the first plane out of here.
So he died March 11th, 1972 in Ohio. And right now he is survived by his daughter, Francine. At the time of his death, he was 68 years old.
Wow. So
he was the first and only black man
to
ever have an interview with Adolf Hitler.
Well, all right, Mr. Milton.
Yes.
We've done some amazing
things. And that's, I'm saying, I didn't know. And like I said, matter of fact, there is a website called Black Past, Past. And it comes up with so many black people we know of, people we don't know of. And if you go on that website and put in anything or any kind of area, the black people, do you know that there was actually a black parliament in Canada that actually helped outline with the Queen all of the policies and procedure of Canada?
Oh, wow. Didn't know.
It's so much.
Didn't know.
It's so much. Okay. I'll tell you, I ain't got time for all this, but okay. But the next one is somebody that I really enjoyed. We were talking about music, right? So I had to get this. Eunice Kathleen Wayman. Does anybody know who that is?
No.
That was the real name of Nina Simone.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yes, we do know who she is.
Yes, you do know who she is. And there is a website that comes all things Nina. And there is a documentary on Netflix.
Oh, wow.
Right now called What Happened, Miss Simone.
Oh, okay. I have to watch that.
Yes, it's very informational. Mm-hmm. And I bring up Nina Simone because her music started as music that was trying to get into the jazz culture, but then it got real civic. She married a man that was very abusive to her, that would beat her. And if you go to the official home of Nina Simone, and they called her the High Priestess of Soul.
Okay.
But the one song that got everybody riled up, I ain't gonna be able to say the whole title of the song because it's called Mississippi God Blank. And that song actually riled up Mississippi. And this was after the march across the bridge, Selma, the march on Selma, and how they beat everybody. And Nina got so outraged. She actually suffered from bipolar. That was her downfall. But she started writing songs that would just sparked flames under black people. She went to this college, and I said I was going to write the name of the college down. That was 100. It was 1,800 students, but only 300 were black. And she went to hold a concert, not knowing that they didn't know that she was going to come and do this, but she held a concert at this university. And then that was the song that made history, was Young, Gifted, and Black.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
And she said,
Ooh,
she
so
sat
good.
on stage, and if you look at this documentary, they actually showed her singing it there. And she said, I know where I am. I know this university, la, 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 la. And I know there's 300 of my people here. And I'm singing this only for you all.
Guys.
She sung it only for them.
Mm-hmm.
And she sung it, and the whole audience gave her a standing ovation.
They did.
She was the one that sung Southern Trees,
which was beautiful.
Bear Strange Fruit.
Ooh, my goodness.
Now,
That's a
mind
good
you that her voice was not, and they talk about it on the documentary, and I've been reading it and everything. She patterned herself after Billie Holiday. Now, she was after the time of Billie Holiday. She came, she got really famous when she did a song for Porky and Bess, and that's how the white culture really appreciated her. On the documentary, you see her on the Penthouse. You know, what's his name? That's it. What's the man name that had Penthouse?
Oh, you talking about
Hugh Hefner. Hugh Hefner had a TV show called The Penthouse, and he presented her on The Penthouse, and they showed that clip.
Oh, wow.
You know, Nina Simone was not just for her music, but for what she stood for.
Mm-hmm.
For what she stood for. And her husband did a interview on the documentary, and he said he wanted her to get back to the regular music, but she got so engulfed in the black movement that her songs just started. Yes.
But listen, if you guys listen to that, what's the one you just said about the strange fruit?
Yes, Southern Trees Bear Strange Fruit.
That song is so powerful.
Yeah.
It's so powerful.
Yeah. It will make you cry. If you listen to the words, it will definitely make you cry and make you think and see the struggle that actually happened in the South. And some of them, I'm going to tell you, some of the if you look at the documentary, some of the pictures, and I urge everybody to look at the documentary, you have to be prepared. Whether you're white or black, I need y'all to be prepared to look at, but I want y'all to look at the documentary on Nina Simone. What happened, Miss Simone? And that actual title came from a poem that Maya Angelou had wrote about her. Because when she went and started doing drugs and doing bipolar, and got bipolar and everything, her mind went. She has a beautiful daughter that also talks about her mom and the relationship and how toxic her relationship was with her dad, but Nina Simone couldn't get enough of him. So that was weird. But Nina Simone, Eunice Kathleen Wayman. That's
Billie Holiday, right? Song, isn't it? Or is that her?
That's Billie Holiday's song, but she sung it.
Okay, yeah.
And being that Billie Holiday sung it in a time where, Billie Holiday singing and people just wanted Billie Holiday.
Right.
But when Nina Simone sung it in there, she changed the whole meaning of that song. Well, not changed the meaning, but changed the purpose of that song. Because she sung it in a time where people actually were being hung during all of that. And it just... It brought purpose.
Another purpose. She repurposed it.
She did. And she was hailed by, there was this man called Stokely Carmichael. Y'all just go because my time is running out. And the last person I want to get, and then we're out of here, is going to be Ernie Barnes. And does anybody, I know y'all probably don't know who Ernie Barnes is. I already quit. Okay. Ernie Barnes was actually the artist that actually painted the paintings on Good Times, and I had the honor and the privilege to speak with his niece this week.
That's what I heard him. You just told me about it.
I just told you about it. And I have actually reserved a copy of an unlimited collection of one of his paintings that, or prints, I should say. It's not his paintings, it's his prints. And as soon as they release it, then I can go ahead and get it. But Ernie Barnes was actually first. He was not a painter first. Ernie Barnes was actually a professional football player.
Wow.
He actually was a professional football player. And he played for the Baltimore Colts in 1959 to 1960, then the Titans of New York in 1960, then the San Diego Chargers from 1960 to 1962, then the Denver Broncos from 1963 to 1964.
Oh, wow. He was a football player.
He was a football player. And then after that, he went to Canadian Football League, the Saskatchewan Roughriders in 1965. So in 1977, he wrote an essay entitled, "I Hate the Game I Love." Mm-hmm. So he decided to get out of football and move into painting. So the paintings you see on Good Time, Jimmy J.J. Walker did not paint those paintings. It was Ernie Barnes, the famous one that you see on Good Times and is on the cover of Marvin Gaye's album. It's called Sugar Shack.
Okay.
And I can't afford Sugar Shack to print, but I'm gonna afford some of the other his stuff. But these are these are some black people you may not have heard about, that you may not have known about, and we just wanted to bring some of them to the forefront.
Absolutely. To
celebrate Black History Month. So I hope everybody's learned something, and look up some black people that y'all, don't just look up Martin Luther King. God bless you, Martin. But look at other people. Langston Hughes, Alex Baldwin. Not Alex Baldwin. Yeah, that's his name. Alex Baldwin. Oh my God. It's so many black people. So many black people that have helped us move on in this struggle, in this walk, in this celebration. So we thank y'all today. Thank you today. And Tina, what you got to end us off on today?
No, I'm grateful. I think you've done it all. I think you've educated us today, and you're letting us know that there are some people out here that we need to learn about based on where we are. It might answer some questions for us in our own journey and our own future. And if not, then we can at least pass this information on to our children and our grandchildren, and even people we don't know, if you get the opportunity to educate. So Black History Month, guys, love on who you are and your culture.
Love on who you are and your culture.
Now, we had 2 comments on Facebook. Both of them was from Sonia Purdy.
Okay.
And she's listening, and she said, "I have learned to Selah by turning my phone off."
Okay.
There you go.
That's her pause.
And that's her musical interlude.
And then she said, "God is purposeful."
He's purposeful. Yes, he is.
Thank you.
That's a good way to end this. God is purposeful. So whatever God is doing in your life, it's not because he think he doing something. It's intentional. It's on purpose. So everybody, I need y'all to live on purpose this week. Live on purpose this week. It's a lot going on. But live on purpose. He's intentional. Next Sunday is Valentine's Day. So join us early in the morning. And let's see what we can do for Valentine's Day. It's going to be a good day next. We got some surprises. So I'm not going to tell y'all. Y'all have to tune in. And make sure you tell everybody about In the Office with G, along with my co-host Tenna Harris. Look at us on Facebook and YouTube. Subscribe. So if you subscribe on it, then it'll give you a alert every time that G and Tenna on. So we want to thank y'all. We want y'all to have a wonderful, beautiful, the sun has come out and it's real bright. Enjoy your Super Bowl Sunday. And we shall see you next time right here in the office with with G. Y'all have a good Sunday.
Thank you
Good
for
night,
joining us.
everybody.
I hope you had an awesome time. Come back every Sunday at 9 a.m. right here on ventradio.net. If you would like to support the show, be a guest, advertiser, or sponsor, just email me at janoris.charles@yahoo.com. You can also cash at me at $Miss Granberg or call the station at area code 404-594-4772. Share the show and send your friends to the office with Miss G. See you next time.
See you next time.